Good morning, all you out there, you vibrant living alchemists, you who are here on this planet at this time and living through an amazing time on this planet. Yesterday I was on a walk and it just felt like the sky was bluer, like the earth is coming alive again. And of course it's spring, so that does naturally happen. There's something about this, though. I believe yesterday we talked about looking at how the way this whole virus thing has orchestrated. It's like we have set up a condition where we are indoors and nature is getting a chance to breathe a little easy without as much human influence on its ways. So Jean Catherine Carlson here, and I am a vibrant living alchemist, and I am going to now ring us in, and I am connecting with you because I know each of us need as many points of inspiration and as many points of soothing, of inspiration, of connecting. We need this more than ever. And so I encourage you to find your way. If your way was led here, either live or recording, that's great, because this is one of the points of remembering who you really are and remembering the big picture and not getting lost in the fear. So let me ring this bowl. Oh, good morning, Melissa, just in time. Going to ring this bowl and allow the vibrations of the sound to come over the waves. Allow it to take you down to the bottom of the breath. And at that bottom of the breath, there is a pause. It happens all the time. We just sometimes don't realize it because we're breathing. We're just breathing. We're not aware of our breath. But when we breathe in and we let it out and go to the bottom of the breath, there is a pause. And when we can be in that pause, that is the place from which all possibilities arise. So let the sound take us there. And in that stillness, just feel it for a moment. That stillness is what is with us all the time. And that stillness has healing powers beyond our mental comprehension. So remember, any time in the day when you are might be caught up in what's going on, breathe and find the bottom of the breath and let your body relax. Okay, so here's where we're going today. I will share something that I heard from Deepak Chopra yesterday, and he was echoing some thoughts I've been having, which validated in a way and encouraged me to show up this morning and share with you that there are actually two pandemics going on. There is the pandemic that we know about, that we see about, the COVID virus, the COVID-19 and the coronavirus, and that's the pandemic that we are more aware of. The other pandemic is the pandemic of fear and the pandemic of panic. And here's the thing that's happening is the pandemic of fear and panic is actually more alarming and more, no pun intended, more alarming and more potentially dangerous to humankind than the virus. Why? Because panic and fear increases the inflammatory markers in the body. It increases the cortisol flowing through our body, and it decreases our immune system. Not only that, but it decreases our ability to connect fully with our prefrontal cortex where the best thinking happens. It activates the amygdala, it activates the swampy brain, it keeps us paralyzed so we don't have access to the creative ideas that we need. We need on this planet, not just in our individual lives, but we need on this planet to move forward in a new way. So that pandemic of fear, what's interesting about both of them is neither of them know boundaries. They are not like the King of England or the King of Sweden or the President of the United States, or they don't know country boundaries, they don't know racial boundaries, they don't respect gender boundaries, they don't respect age boundaries. Every person is susceptible to both viruses, potentially. And our job is, we've had a lot of information about how to keep safe around the with the virus, washing hands, just all the things that you've heard. I don't need to tell you all of them because they've been repeated over and over. And those are things that we would do to take care of ourselves anyway. Now, this other one, the pandemic of fear, pandemic of panic, that is one that is an energetic piece. And guess what? The other thing that's different is, even though neither respect boundaries, the one of the virus, that one requires that you be in personal proximity to be able to get it, to catch it. Whether it's touching something, whether it's being breathed upon, all of that you know already, because again, it's been talked about. This other one is even more contagious because we catch it through airwaves. We catch it. I opened up an email this morning. I did some healing work as I laid in bed this morning, and I opened up an email that's, thank you for those thumbs up, because yes, this is like what happens. I opened up an email and it said 50% of people will be infected by this. You don't think that is something that is laden with the panic virus, with the pandemic of fear? And as I scrolled down, I saw that ad was actually being generated by someone who was selling vitamin C. Now, the reason I scrolled down to see was I wanted to see, is this a reputable source of information? So that's one hint. As we feel like, I feel a big wave of fear virus coming towards me, I want to ward it off. Who is generating this? Who is saying this? It sounds very reputable, but I'm not so sure. It also sounds very inflammatory. So as you listen to the news, the people on the news, the people sharing the news, they have very calm faces, but we don't know what's going on inside. Energy is contagious. So that's the dark side of it. And that's why we do tapping here, because there's so much out in the air. It's impossible not to come into contact with fear. It's impossible not to come into contact with panic. That's just the nature of it right now. And there's so much that we can do to be aware of it and ward it off. Or if it gets in, say, oops, and clean ourselves out. So there's lots we can do, lots of energy tools that will support us. What we're doing here, and we'll do in a moment, is do some tapping. So tapping, and by the way, I will get my hand sanitizer, because we do touch our faces, and if you're concerned about that, you can use a hand sanitizer, go wash your hands. But when we tap, we are tapping on the energy meridians, and it helps that stuck fear energy, that heavy fear energy, to begin to move, and then it can flush out of our systems without getting stuck and moving, escalating into panic and paralysis and all of that. Now, the good news is we could create a pandemic of joy. no matter what. We could conceive of a pandemic of enjoying the connection that we have, of gratitude, a pandemic of gratitude. Yesterday was the International Day of Happiness. We could choose to create a pandemic of silver linings, a pandemic of choosing to see this in a new way. Let the novel coronavirus instruct us on being a novel corona, as in crown, as in queen or king of our own inner realms, to create an inner atmosphere of gratitude, of receiving love, because there is still so much love out in the world that is there for us to, it's out there in the world, but guess where it starts? Love begins within. You, my friends, are beings of love. You are beings of light. That is the truth of who you are. And hi, Maggie, good morning. That is the truth of who you are. You are not fear-based animals. You are light-based beings. And we get to reclaim that. So I'm going to read one thing to you this morning, and then we'll tap. So here we go. This is about faith. And my friends, we all have faith. It's just a matter of what we have faith in. Some people have faith in, we don't have to go there. Everybody has a different faith base. And faith is what runs our life. If we didn't have faith, for example, if we didn't have faith in gravity, we'd be worried all the time about floating up instead of staying connected to the earth. So we have faith in gravity. That's an example. So faith is, and I'm reading from, I posted this a few days ago. This is 30 Days to Fearless Living. That might be backwards. Faith is intrinsic within the mind of every human being. It operates within each of us. We are often admonished to have faith, but actually we cannot not have faith. Faith is fundamental to our nature. To have faith usually means to focus our faith in a particular direction. So right now we get to focus. Do we want to focus towards the pandemic of the virus? To focus on the pandemic of fear? We can focus on the pandemic. Okay, this is another piece. We can be serious. We can have faith that there is a way through the virus and still take it seriously. We can have faith that there is a way to protect ourselves and to keep ourselves from falling into the pandemic of panic and fear. So there is faith on both sides. To have faith usually means that we focus our faith in a particular direction. Yet faith is always operating in our consciousness, no matter how doubtful or fearful we may feel. Here's another invitation. Tap on your collarbone right now while we say this. Even though I feel fear, I am still a being of light. Even though I feel this fear, I know I'm a being of love. So fear does not cancel out love. It just doesn't. When you're at the ocean, about 1,300 feet altitude, and the ocean is covered with a bank of fog and you can't see the ocean, we don't doubt that the ocean is there. We know it's there, we just can't see it. So the same thing, when you get caught up in fear, know that it's okay, because love is still there and our guidance will take us back to there. Let's see, this is the part I want to say and then we'll tap. Fear is faith turned inside out. Fear is faith turned inside out. Fear is having faith in certain images created by the mind rather than having faith in the creative power of mind itself. That's where we'll stop. Fear is believing in the fearful images that are being generated by this pandemic of fear, through media, through emails, through wherever. So we can recognize that that is faith turned inside out. We can recognize that we can claim the creative power of our minds and dreams and create solutions. So, you ready to tap? So, let's see. Thank you. Thank you. Maggie just said, it complimented me on my vibrancy today. I am just, so thank you. I think that it is my pleasure to invite us all to know that this vibrancy is our inheritance. This is who we are. Okay, so tapping on the karate chop and repeating after me. Even though I sometimes get caught in this pandemic of fear, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And one more time. Even though I sometimes get caught in this pandemic of fear, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Okay, and shaking that out. And we're just going to do 2 rounds on the body. So the beginning of the eyebrows, tapping lightly. And the first round will be acknowledging the fear, and the second round will be choosing creativity. So on the beginning of the eyebrows. All this pandemic of fear on the outside of the eyebrows. If I don't fear, am I taking it seriously? Under the eyes. Maybe I have to be afraid to prove I'm serious. Under the nose and on the chin. I know fear doesn't feel good. And on the collarbone. And it doesn't really help. And on the wrists. All this fear in this body. And on the top of the head, all this fear in the world. On the beginning of the eyebrows, maybe on the outside of the eyebrows, there's a better way. Under the eyes, maybe I could choose to have faith in love. Under the nose and on the chin, maybe I could choose to have faith in the creative powers of love. On the collarbone, I'll tune to my creative powers. I will choose to have faith in love. And on the wrists, and see where love leads me. And on the top of the head, because the power of love is greater than fear. And shaking that out, and put your left hand into your right wrist and just squeeze it gently. And breathe, and just say, let it go, let it go, let it go. And then breathing in, and put your hands on your lap and say peace. Peace. And remember, through the day, you can tap on your collarbone and just say, I surrender this fear. I surrender to love. Let go of this fear. I'm focusing my faith on love. Whatever comes to you will suffice. And just take a moment and do that. You can also take a moment and put your hand in your wrist. Sometimes I've even done that when I'm walking, and squeeze and just say, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. So you can do that. You can also find many numerous ways, other tools. For right now, we're talking about tapping. So go through this weekend with love in your hearts. Tomorrow I will be back online at 9:15. You may join me for Sunday morning tapping, and we will look at more. We will continue to tap on whatever is coming through so that we can not only move through this, not survive, but to thrive and come through this with greater insights about how to care for ourselves and how to care for this world, how to care for each other. So go in the power of love. Thank you so much for joining me and for doing your part to create a pandemic of happiness. Bye for now.